Good morning. So today we discuss a very important topic, cardiopulmonary resuscitation. So cardiopulmonary resuscitation is a very important topic. It is one of the emergency medical procedure. So it is an emergency medical procedure. The patient is arrested, basically cardiorespiratory arrest. That means there is stop functioning of heart and lungs. This is called as cardiorespiratory arrest. So this is an emergency medical procedure. It consists of rapid chest compression and it is required for restore oxygenated blood supply to the vital organ like the brain, heart, kidney. So this prevent cerebral hypoxia and myocardial infarction. So this is an emergency medical procedure. There are certain short forms of them. This EMS means emergency medical services. Then BLS means basic life support. Then ACLS means advanced cardiac life support. Basic life support means where hospital setting is not available in the periphery if the patient is arrested. We should give basic life support like mouth to mouth respiration and chest compression. The advanced cardiac life support means it is available in the hospital setting in the ICU where ventilator and trained doctors are available. So what is the main indication for cardiopulmonary resuscitation? So main indication is sudden cardiorespiratory arrest. Sudden cardiorespiratory arrest means sudden stoppage of function of heart and respiration. That means heart stop beating and lungs stop from respiration. So there is no respiration, no heartbeat. So there are certain causes of sudden cardiorespiratory arrest. The first very important cause is drowning. So drowning means immersion of the body in the water. Then anaphylactic shock, shock due to the insect bite, animal bite, or injection of the certain toxic substances in the body. So anaphylactic shock, any drugs. Then myocardial infarction, which is nothing but heart attack. That is myocardial infarction. And pulmonary embolism, formation of the small blood clot, which is called as embolus in the pulmonary artery or pulmonary vein. Then during the surgeries, specifically during the cardiac surgeries, then any trauma to the body like road traffic accident, poisoning, hanging of the patient, strangulation, electrocution means electric shock to the patient, anesthesia, overdoses of the anesthesia, and any terminal illness of the patient. This patient is suffering from chronic diseases. So what are the symptoms of sudden cardiorespiratory arrest? So how to identify the patient? Patient is in the arrested stage. So you just check the patient. Patient is unconscious with cold, moist, and pale skin. Then his pulse become a weak. Blood pressure cannot be recorded. Pupils become dilated, and all the reflexes in the body become sluggish or absent. So there are methods of resuscitation. There are basically two methods of resuscitation. First one is called as manual method. Second one is called as mechanical method. So the manual method, which is performed in the periphery where hospital setting is not available, or which can be performed in combination. In the hospital, like external cardiac compression, which can be performed in the periphery also, in the hospital setting also, along with mechanical ventilation. So there are three manual methods: external cardiac compression, which is also called as very famously CPR, external cardiac compression. Then mouth to mouth respiration, and third one is the Holger Nelson method. And second type of classification is mechanical methods. These are the methods only done in the hospital setting in ICU where ventilators are available. So first one is the ventilation or ventilator method, and second one is the defibrillation. So we'll discuss later on what is this defibrillation. So before starting cardio cardiac massage or any artificial respiration, you must know the A, B, C, D. So A stand for airway. Airway of the patient must be patent. If the tongue is pulled back or anything obstructed in the mouth, that should be removed. Airway should be patent. Air can be go from mouth to the lungs. In order to check the breathing, whether the patient is breathing or not. How to check it? You just see the expansion of the chest or movement of the abdomen. Then you have to check the circulation. Circulation can be checked by just palpating pulse of the patient. You have to palpate the pulse. Then D for defibrillation. In the hospital, when the patient is going in the ventricular tachycardia or supraventricular tachycardia, the heart rate of the patient is more than 200 beats per minute. This is called as supraventricular tachycardia. In that condition, we should give a 150 joule or 100 joule electric shock to the patient. So this is called as defibrillation. This is for to normalize the heart rate of the patient. So you must know A, B, C, D before starting artificial respiration. So we'll discuss first one, that is external cardiac compression. This is also called as external cardiac massage. There are very important 7 important steps for CPR. The first one, you have to place heel of the one hand in the center of the chest. That is first step. Then you have to place other hand above the first hand and keep the finger interlocked. Third one, keep your elbow straight. Fourth, compression should be with the weight of the body. The rate of the compression, chest compression should be 100 to 120 compression per minute. So in the 1 minute, we should be 100 to 120 compression. Fifth one, chest should be compressed at least 5 centimeters. So sternum should be go downward during compression at least 5 centimeters. Then allow the complete chest recoil after each compression. So you have to compress, release, compress, release. So during release, there is recoiling of the chest. So after 15 compression, you should give 2 rescue breath. That means, so you have to give 15 compression, then you have to do the 2 breath to the patient. So ratio should be for 100 to 120 compression. The rate of breath should be 12 to 16. So you have to maintain that ratio. So during compression, heart is compressed between the sternum and the vertebral column. So this is equivalent to the systole. So blood is ejected from the heart into the aorta. While recoiling of the chest, this is equivalent to the diastole. Heart gets filled with the blood from the venous system. So that is about external cardiac compression. So this is the photo. You can see how to keep one hand above the other hand and how to interlock the fingers on the chest of the patient, in the middle of the chest. Second method is the mouth-to-mouth respiration. This is a very important method and very simple method and does not require any instrument. All the manual method does not require any instrument and you can perform anywhere where hospital setting is not available. So in the second method, maintain the patency of the airway by tilting head. So head should be tilted. Then close the patient nostrils using your thumb and index finger. So you have to close the patient nose because if you blow in the patient mouth, air can escape from the mouth. So you have to first close the nose of the patient to prevent escape of the air. Third one, use your hand to lift the chin. So you have to lift the chin of the patient to open the mouth widely. And seal the patient mouth with your mouth. So you should seal the patient mouth with your mouth and exhale forcefully in the patient mouth and observe the chest expansion. When you exhale forcefully into the patient mouth, there is expansion of the chest. Chest become expanded. Then let the patient breathe it out. So take your mouth out and see whether the expiration movement present in the patient or not. The rate should be mouth to mouth respiration is 12 to 16 times per minute. So this is about mouth to mouth respiration. You can see a photo. So this is the photo showing mouth to mouth respiration. See how the neck is extended, chin is pulling downward. Patient mouth is sealed with subject mouth and doctor's mouth, and give forceful exhale in the patient mouth. So this is the photo which can show mouth to mouth respiration. Third method is called as Olver-Nelson method. This is also called as arm lift back pressure method. So this can be done in the drowning case when the body is immersed in the water. So there are 4 steps of Olver-Nelson method. The doctor should kneel down on the side of patient head. So this is the first step. You can see how the doctor kneel down toward the patient head. Then you have to hold the hand of the patient. Then pull the arm upward. So this is the third step. You have to pull the arm upward. Patient in the prone position. Then you have to give compression on the back of the patient on the through scapula. So during lifting of the arm, produce inspiration, while during given compression on the scapula, both the scapula of the patient will produce expiration. So lifting of the arm, inspiration, and while given compression on the back, produce expiration. So inspiration, expiration, inspiration, expiration goes on. So this is a very important method which can be performed in drowning, Olver-Nelson method. So then we will discuss mechanical methods. So first one is the ventilator support. So this is very important thing. It can be available in the hospital and ICU setup. So for ventilator support, you must intubate the patient. The procedure is called as intubation, endotracheal intubation. Understood? So for intubation, 3 instruments required. One is the laryngoscope. Laryngoscope required to see the vocal cord or trachea of the patient. Then this is endotracheal tube. This tube should insert into the trachea, and this is a ambu bag. So this ambu bag we should connect to the endotracheal tube and give oxygen or air to the patient with the help of ambu bag. So you can see here. So you can see the vocal cord and trachea with the help of laryngoscope, and insert the endotracheal tube into the trachea. And this tube can be connected. You can see the patient is intubated. Endotracheal tube can be connected to the breathing circuit. So this is the breathing circuit, and this breathing circuit is connected to the ventilator. So there are certain adjustment settings are there in the ventilator. You can adjust the respiratory rate or oxygen supply, saturation of oxygen in the ventilator. And you can see this is the monitor where you can see the patient heart rate, saturation of the patient. This one is the respiratory rate of the patient. And below you can see the blood pressure of the patient. All the vital things you can see, you can check on the monitor. Last one is the defibrillation. Again, this is very important in the hospital setting. Defibrillation means when the patient heart rate more than 250 beats per minute, which is called as supraventricular tachycardia. In that much rate, there is no injection of blood from the heart. There is no blood supply to the periphery, to the delicate organs. So you have to normalize this heart rate toward the like 70 to 100 beats per minute. To normalize the heart rate, you should give 150 joule or 100 joule electric shock to the patient with the help of defibrillator. So you can see this is the machine. This is called as defibrillator, electron defibrillator. And these are the electrode you should keep on the chest and give shock to the patient. This is called as defibrillation to normalize the heart rate of the patient. So in the hospital setting, this chest compression, defibrillation, and ventilator. This can be done simultaneously in the cardiorespiratory arrest patient. So after given cardiorespiratory resuscitation, how to identify whether the patient is recovered or not. So till how you should give cardiopulmonary resuscitation. Either you should do till the death of the patient. So at the end of cardiopulmonary resuscitation, either patient survive or can be died. So you can stop your effort after the dying of the patient. The patient is improved. What are the symptoms? What are the signs of recovery of the patient from cardiorespiratory arrest? So first sign, that is gain cardiac rhythm. You can see the heart can be beating. You can see the heart rate on the monitor. You can see the signs of respiration, like chest expansion is there, abdominal movement is there. Then you can see the pulse. You can palpate the pulse reappear. Blood pressure can be recorded. Improve oxygen saturation, you can check on the monitor. Reflexes can be appear, you can see the reflexes like cuff reflex, ocular reflexes, and if you give it properly, the patient is revived, the patient becomes conscious. Thank you very much.